This is Megatron, and you're listening to the Beast Unleashed podcast. Oh, yes.
Hello, and you're listening to All Things Transformers and the Beast Unleashed crossover. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me as always is...
TFG1Mike, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Very well.
Yes, and we have a very, very awesome privilege coming up this evening. This actually will not air until next week. We are recording this Friday, December 4th. It won't air until Friday, December 11th. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because the 12th is the Saturday. That's the holiday show record for TuneCast. Yeah. We have huge news, and we've kept this a secret from everybody because it's just off the scale.
Yes.
I think this is the part where we need to get our geekiness out now so we don't geek out on the next part that we have to record. The Beast Unleashed podcast, as most everyone has already heard episode 0, because episode 0 will be out for this, before this will. But Steve and I and Michael Wilson will be doing a Beast Wars, Beast Machines review podcast, much in the vein of TFG1, but a little bit better. Because we've all grown in the past year and a half of podcasting, and we actually know what the hell we're doing to some degree. So,
yeah.
I wanted to do something really special for Steve's birthday. Steve's birthday was 6 months ago, unfortunately, and now is the only time I was able to finally get something out of what I was looking for. I wanted to get an interview with David Kaye. Everybody knows David Kaye is Beast Wars, Beast Machines Megatron. He also played Megatron in the Unicron Trilogy, and he plays Optimus Prime in Transformers Animated along with Grimlock and Lugnut. So yeah, happy belated birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
Yes, it took 6 months, a lot of unanswered emails and phone calls, and just one night I just happened to be on Facebook. I just happened to look in the chat window, and lo and behold, I have friended David Kaye on Facebook, and he was in the chat. And I just said, hey, how you? This was like right before Thanksgiving this year. I said, hey, how you doing? Are you ready for the Thanksgiving holiday? I wasn't really sure what else to say to the guy, honestly, because holy crap, it's David Kaye.
Yeah.
So I was like, my friend and I, are really big Beast Wars fans. We're actually going to be starting up a Beast Wars, Beast Machines review podcast next year. And he said, oh, well, let me know if you need any sound bites. And I said, it's funny that you bring that up, because we were actually wanting to interview you. I had contacted your assistant and said that we could work something out, but never heard anything back from him. He said, oh, okay, well, just, send me a message or send me, stuff with the info and whatever else. I said, all right. I said, I'll send you a message on Facebook. So a few Facebook messages later, here we are, less than 8 minutes until we have to actually contact Mr. Kaye. This is hopefully going to be, hopefully we can get more Beast Wars, Beast Machines actors, for voice actors for interviews.
As well as the writers.
Yeah, as well as the writers. I think this is going to be a great treat for the All Things Transformers subscribers, and of course the soon-to-be Beast Unleashed subscribers. We are actually starting the show in January. That will be when episode 1 will be. Episode 0, as I said, will be up
next week.
Next Friday. Basically, episode 0 and this are going up next Friday.
I think I might make the listeners suffer like an extra day. Of course, they won't know that until they listen to this.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we're just trying to contain our excitement because we want to be professional when we talk to Mr. Kaye. We've got a bunch of great questions for him, and hopefully he can give us some promos in his various voices. So we'll see where that goes from there. Do you have any other final thoughts before we continue?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
no, not really. I felt like doing it.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see how the War of the Megatrons goes. I'm not sure how that's going to work just yet. I may say, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So up next is the interview with David Kaye.
Podcast good.
Hello, everyone. This is Michael Blanchard, and I am joined by my friend and podcasting partner, Stephen C. Phillips. Today we have a super awesome privilege to interview David Kaye. Yes, that's right. Megatron from Beast Wars and Beast Machines is on the line with us. Hello, David.
How are you, man?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Yes. Just to get things going here, where for most people that may not know about you online or know where to look for information from you or whatever, where did you grow up?
I actually grew up back in Canada. I grew up in a little place called Peterborough. It's hockey town central up there. And if you didn't own hockey equipment, there was something wrong with you. It was a donut shop on every corner. I actually believe there still is. And that's where I grew up. Spent a lot of time in Vancouver, and then I was commuting to Los Angeles for about 10 years until we finally moved 2 years ago. Too many airplanes.
Yes.
Yeah, based in Burbank, California.
Cool. What got your voice acting career started?
A lie. It was a fib. Not really. It was kind of a white lie, I guess. In Vancouver, I met an agent there who was teaching a commercial modeling class. The modeling part was goofy. I think at that school, if you had one eye, you were, they thought, oh, you could work in this business, but it was, a bunch of crap. But the acting side of it, there was a commercial thing. You get to learn lines, and it was my first foray into that business. And the guy who was teaching it became my very first agent, a very close friend. And then he asked me if I wanted an agent. I said, yeah, sure. He said, can you do voices? Hey, yeah, okay. Sure. I lied. He said, there's an audition for G.I. Joe coming up. And I auditioned for General Hawk, and I ended up getting the part. And I had no idea what I was doing. It was the coolest thing ever. So from that moment on, that's what I wanted to do.
Cool. Very cool. Steve, you've got a couple of questions for Mr. Kaye there.
I'm not saying to lie.
Oh, no, we know.
No.
Yes, we completely understand that.
It was convenient at the time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So did getting started in radio help you transition into voice acting?
Not really. That was a really tough transition from radio because, for example, if you're given something to read in radio or to talk over the intro of a song, when I back in high school I had a part-time job at it. It has its own style and its own thing, and when you get into voiceover, everything is slowed way down, and if you send anything like you're talking on the radio, there's no way you're going to get hired for any of the big gigs. It's just that's the way it was. It's the way I was told by a lot of production houses. So I had to really work at it, even as so many years being in the business in Vancouver when I first started doing stuff. I had to really work at losing a sort of a radio sound, and there is, I think we all know what that sort of is. Mm-hmm. You're hearing a lot more people on the air these days who are very natural sounding, and that's the way it should be. But back then it was sort of a heightened sort of, hey, how are you? 75 degrees downtown, and people didn't really talk like that. And so when you're taught to do that, and you spend all your waking hours doing that, to get rid of that is really tough. So it's actually better coming at it from a non-radio background. If you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've done many other acting roles outside of Transformers. Which do you prefer voice acting on, or do you prefer voice acting or on-camera work?
I prefer voice acting. It's just I know what to do technically in here. I know what I'm capable of, and I know it's just, for me, it's play. I do, when I'm on set, when I have done stuff on set, and I've been in the films and television shows, it is fun. It is a good time. There's a lot of waiting around. But just for me, I prefer the voice side of things, and I just love it every day.
Okay. And can you reveal any behind-the-scenes moments during Beast Wars and Beast Machines recordings?
No. No. Sure. I mean, there's a lot of dirty jokes and horsing around, and God bless Sue Blue. She is able to wrangle us, rein us in.
Yeah.
But it was a really fun cast, and it was, I don't know, it was the most fun I've ever had on a show. I think what approached the most fun I've had on a show is working on the new Transformers. It's currently out, because working with people like Tom Kenny, and who's SpongeBob, and Bill Fagerbakke, who's Patrick. Working with the cast, that makes it fun. Right. And it's like literally in the room, it's like a bunch of kids playing around and throwing things at each other, and it's up to the director basically to rein us all in and settle us down. Otherwise, we get carried away, and there's a lot of snickering and laughing and joking. But somehow we get a show done out of it.
Yes. Feel like you are typecast as Megatron.
Do I feel like I am?
Yes.
I love it. That's fine. Yeah, that's great. Bring it
on. And it's funny. When I first met my friend Steve here, didn't actually know he imitated voices, and in my mind, it's almost like hearing the real Megatron, which you are. Steve, if you want to show off your skills there to Mr. Kaye, why don't you say something in Megatron's voice?
Excellent. Yes.
What do you think?
Not bad. That's the best one I've heard.
Go ahead, Steve, with the next.
What is your favorite memory from Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and what do you miss most?
Pulling Gary's finger. I guess I miss you miss the cast, like I mentioned before. It's tons of fun. The joking around and going in for 4 hours and knowing that you're gonna have 4 hours of fun and read some well-written scripts. Some of my favorite stuff was from Larry and Bob, Larry DiTillo and Bob Forward. Yeah, just the camaraderie, just working with your buds. That's what I miss. I miss the most on every show I do. I never want to leave. I never want the show to be over.
Was there anything that you did not like or was hard for you in both the Beast series?
No. The only thing that was hard is when I was cast as Optimus in TF Animated, it was a hard transition for a few episodes to really kind of find the voice and find it, where I wasn't kind of struggling. Because after so many years of playing the bad guy, you're now the good guy. And that was a little bit of a tough transition, but other than that, no, not at all.
At the time Beast Wars and Beast Machines were on air, which voice actors in the industry did you admire most?
Well, the people that I'm working with in C down here in L.A. On a daily basis, I run into Peter Cullen a lot, and I don't know if he knows who I am or anything, because I've met him about like a half a dozen times, and I just kind of get the feeling that he doesn't really know who I am. I think he does, but who knows? But he's always been a hero. Frank Welker's been a major hero of mine, and there's many people. I mean, modern stuff. Tom Kenny and the folks that do Chowder, I think they're all brilliant. Flapjack, I did an episode of Flapjack recently, and that was a total riot. And then who really got me into the industry, I do a lot of promo, network trailer and promo and stuff like that in the trailer business, was Don LaFontaine. He died last year, and he's one of my main mentors, and it was a sad day when he left because he's a lot of people's hero. And so, and the cool thing is a lot of these guys, you see on doing the rounds down here. So it's kind of fun.
Yep.
Was there any voice actors in the industry that you just didn't get along with for one reason or another?
Very, very, very rarely, very few. There are one couple now and again. You meet some folks, and just as you know, in everyday life, they're a little kind of quirky and different, and they don't fit the mold. It's like it's kind of like there's like 100 people, and there's kind of like two that kind of stick out where everyone kind of goes, yeah, what's the deal with them? And otherwise, no, it's very, very rare in this business.
Mm-hmm. How are you informed that that Beast Wars and Beast Machines were coming to an end? And did you think the show had done everything it could, or did you wish it would have gone on longer?
Oh, because I wish it would go on longer, but nothing lasts forever. It's the show sells toys, and Hasbro has their own agenda and has their own thing, and that's what it does. It's a vehicle for selling toys, and if they don't think it's working, or they want to change it up, and they will. I mean, we're lucky we got. You're lucky you get a season out of a cartoon. So when it went, I think it went like
5 actually. Yeah.
5 total. I mean, that's after the first season. Now it's like bonus time.
Yeah, really.
So yeah.
Over the course of the show, did you ever watch the cartoon back to hear what you sounded like? Basically, did you ever watch the show back in the 90s while you were working on it?
Yeah, I did. But truthfully, it was to see the animation and how it was progressing. I'm very finicky about what I do, and I'm never totally happy with it, which is fine. I'm always striving, but there's also sometimes it's hard to actually enjoy it because you're listening with a critical ear, and it's hard to do. There's certain things, speeches that I did, that turned out pretty good. Other things I hear and I go, what did I use that for, or why did I do that? So it's just me being self-critical a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I did watch. I watched a fair number of them, and I'll dig them out again and watch them quite often.
Yeah, I do that quite often as well.
Yeah.
How easy or hard was it for you to keep track of which voice went with what character?
Sometimes it depended. Certain characters just came naturally. Other ones they would show up at a different episode, and they'd have to play you what you did before. Although Megatron was always would get you into the voice, the laugh or the yes, excellent, yes, Commander Rattrap. As soon as it said that, I was back in the character. And then for the current one that's on television, it's Optimus. Transform and roll out. Once they get that out, then I can find where I'm supposed to be. The episode of Flapjack I just did, it was sort of they wanted a Mexican accent, but they didn't want it too strong. They didn't want it to sound Spanish, so that took a bit of sort of working around. And finally, when you land into it, there's a certain phrase or certain thing you say that can get you back into character.
Yeah.
So I've never had too much trouble, but there's times when I've forgotten what the heck I did. So, yeah.
That's why we ask the hard questions.
What's your favorite part or memory about doing each of the Transformer cartoons?
Let me see. I remember the first time we saw the rendered animation of the Beast Wars stuff. When we first saw what they were doing, at that time, you look at it now and go, "Oh man, that's lame," because it's come so far. But the first time we saw it was, "Whoa, this is different." That's quite exciting. And then I like some of the speeches. What was the one that was that kind of darker Beast Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the Noble stuff. People kind of thought it was so dark, but I kind of liked it. I liked that.
I have a side question actually about the Noble character. Was that more closely to your own voice than the Megatron voice?
They wanted me to pull back. They wanted the direction from Sue Blue at the time was
okay. So it's Megatron, but we don't want people to to hear this Megatron. We want them to kind of hear a little bit of it, but
So I had to kind of find an in between type of voice to make people realize, oh, it's probably him, or oh, is it him, or that was sort of the direction given at the time.
Yes.
And the other, with the, I guess the TF Animated was standing beside Tom Kenny, SpongeBob, working every episode. That was fun.
I have a question closer to the end about a couple of the animated stuff. Go ahead, Steve.
Which voice actors that you have worked with do you still keep in contact with?
A lot, pretty much all of them.
Really?
Like Terry Strong's a good friend. I see Tom all the time, and I see Bill. Yeah, we always, and Corey Burton. I mean, yeah, we always, sometimes we don't see them a lot, but it's like old home week when we see them. We get together. I see Greg Berger a lot. He wasn't in the show, but I see him out doing the rounds, and he's a great guy. So, yeah, we all maintain friendships. I used to hang out, and Bumper Robinson and I, who played Bumblebee, we're Lakers fanatics, and so we'll text each other during the game, and, you know, either we'll be mad or we'll be happy or miserable or whatever it is. So, yeah, we're always...
I can just see Bumblebee getting mad over a Lakers game.
Oh, dude, you do that shot? Oh, dude, right, you know.
Yeah. Now, this goes back to, you had mentioned Peter Cullen earlier. How was it meeting him at one of the... I know that you had met him at one of the BotCons, and can you tell us...
Yeah, in Rhode Island, yeah.
Can you tell us...
For the first time.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, for the first time, it was Rhode Island, I believe,
right.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your BotCon experience and your thoughts on the whole, like, fan base for Transformers?
Oh, it's great. I mean, without it, you know, as you know, as I know, that there wouldn't be anything without the fans, and they're the one that buy the toys and watch the show and go to the cons. It's huge business. I always hope people get their money's worth when they go, because it's an expensive weekend.
Yep.
It can be expensive.
Very much so, yes.
So I worry about that aspect of it, because you know, you want to try and get as many people there as possible.
Right.
I love the kids, and they're coming up, and just, you know, it still blows me away that when you do a convention and fans are all there, and, you know, to see the work you've done and sign autographs is still strange for me. I mean, it's like me meeting Peter Cullen for the first time. It's like I was kind of shaky and kind of like, oh, you're that guy that, you know, I felt like an idiot. And yet we do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm also a fan too.
This next question has to do with a episode of Transformers Animated. It was close to the end of Season 3 where Optimus Prime had got his jetpack. I don't know if this is true or not, but did you bring a little bit of Beast Wars Megatron to Optimus Prime and Animated? Because you used two lines when you were flying through the air. You used the excellent and the yes.
Yes. That was as close to the beginning of the show. The animators are all big fans of the, you know, Beast Wars and stuff like that, and Derek Wyatt and Matt Youngberg and Marty Eisenberg. They're all trying to, you know, we go to lunch. I still go to lunch with those guys, and we hang out and get new comics on New Comic Book Day. And it was always a plan to somehow, you know, work it into the script, and so that's what they did. That's an homage to the other series.
Very cool. And the final question before we wrap this up is what, Steve?
What was it like being the only voice actor in Transformers history to switch sides?
That was the strangest thing when I got that call. I thought for sure at the end of the sentence it was going to be, oh, they want you back as Megatron. But it was, oh, they want you back as Optimus. Who? What do you mean? You mean the Optimus one character? Yeah. And then my agent wasn't quite sure down here who I'd played. I said, she said, well, what, didn't you play him before? I said, no, I was, you should have done. I said, you sure they want, it's Optimus? There's no, she said, no, that's the suit just called. Like, oh. So that totally blew me away. It was very surprising.
All right, so we would like to thank Mr. Kaye for taking the time to chat with us in this special All Things Transformers and the Beast Unleashed podcast interview. We would like you to hold the line for a few minutes so we can possibly get some promos from you. Do you have...
Absolutely. Yes. I will hold the line. Don't take too long.
Do you have any...
Might unleash all hell on you or something.
Megatron ever cursed in the show. Wow, that's
Yeah, that's right. That's the first right there.
Do you have any final, just for like a closing? Do you have any final words for the Transformers fans?
Yes, there is something new in the works. I certainly can't guarantee that I'll be involved, but there is stuff happening, and so you won't be without without the next installment. But yeah, it remains to be seen that I will be involved or not. But otherwise, if I'm not, it's been well over 15 years in the franchise, and I got no regrets, man. It's been a blast.
Yeah, I think you and Sue Blue are the two. I know Sue is the longest ever to be associated with it, but
and she still will.
Yes. Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's a big hint.
Maybe a good sign, too.
Yes.
Yeah, but keep that to yourself and all those people out there.
You know this is going on air, right? Anyway, thank you again, Mr. K. Again, please hang on, and we will be right back with the special closing to this interview.
This is Megatron, leader of the Predacons, and you're listening to the Beast Unleashed podcast. Excellent. Yes.
Hello and welcome back to All Things Transformers Beast Unleashed podcast crossover. You've just heard the interview of David Kaye.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, that was freaking awesome.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, That was great.
Yes, it was so nice of him to, spend time with us on a
Oh,
Friday evening and
Oh, yes.
do this interview.
Very much so. And we did get a few promos out of him, which will probably be spritzed through this episode and through the other episodes of each show. So yeah, I'm like, I don't know, for some odd reason, every time after I do an interview, I'm just like in so much shock, it's just like, I can't talk.
Yes, I know how that goes.
He actually liked your impression. Said it was the best, one of the best, probably if not one of the best, but the best one that he's heard.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that means I've been practicing very well.
Yeah. So coming up, let's see, I gotta pull up the schedule here. Coming up in January, after this airs, we're gonna take a Christmas break for the Beast Unleashed podcast side anyway. And coming up in late January, you will hear episode 1 of the Beast Unleashed podcast with myself, Steve, of course, and Michael Wilson will be joining us, which people would have heard him in the episode 0, but he was unable to record with us this evening. So yes, we will see you in January 2010.